Hey everyone, T-Sun here again to talk about another use case for Spark. So today we're going to look at using Spark and Python together to automate a process. So here's an example model that we're going to use today. This is an RMD, or required minimum distribution calc. In this case, you have inputs about a policy. It's got an account balance in there, and then all of these other tabs and everything that you see are used to calculate what the required minimum distribution amount is. So our inputs are the years, the date of birth for the beneficiary and the spouse, and then the account balance. And then our outputs in this case would be the current year RMD amount, and then the modeled RMD amount in the future. So we tag our inputs and outputs like normal. This is ready to be uploaded in Spark. And now we're going to go into Spark here, hit new service, going to go in the folder where that RMD calculation was, and now drag and drop it into Spark here. Now it's going through the spreadsheet. Again, it's converting all the logic, calculations, formulas, tables to really fast C++ code. It's going to host that code on our cloud, and then now make it accessible via API. So now you can access that calculation anywhere in the system of your choice. And of course, today we're going to look at using that calculation and calling it with Python. So here we go, it's converted to this API. We'll hit publish. And now on this next tab or screen, we will see that API endpoint. And then here is that RMD calc. So here's the inputs that we had. If I hit submit, it'll think, calculate that RMD amount and other output information. If we change this to a $2 million account, hit enter, it'll calculate a different RMD amount. All right, so let's actually look at using this at scale. So one way to do this is, a lot of times our clients will have, data in a table in a SQL database like this. And in this case, we have 1,000 policies of data. And now what we want to do is use Python to call 1,000 of these calculations with our API. So what we're going to do is use Python. And I just have a sample Python script here, but essentially what we're going to do is going to go in that SQL database. We're going to read that data in the SQL table. We're going to run and store the results through our API. And then we're going to upload the results back into SQL and make a new table with all the outputs for each of those policies. So I'm just going to hit run on this Python script. And now it's doing exactly that. So I have a visual of the slide here, where essentially we're taking the policy data in SQL. We're going to run all of it through the Spark API. The Spark API calculations are driven from our spreadsheet. We're going to run it really quickly, since we can scale that calculation now on the cloud. And then we're going to output the results back into SQL. So here, if I go back to my Python script, it just finished running those 1,000 policies. And now if I go back into my SQL database, I can hit refresh. And then you'll be able to see this new RMD output table. And here I included the inputs of each policy here, but then here are the outputs starting with the calc method, current year RMD amount, and everything like that. And then now we just calculated those RMD outputs for all 1,000 of those different policies. So, to recap, this is basically taking your Excel logic, converting it to an API, and then now we can run that API at scale. And Python is a really good orchestration tool to basically connect the data to the calculations. And, in this example, I had an RMD calculation, but we have clients that use this for data transformations, for post-model processing and reporting. We have clients that use this for reserve calculations, and you get the full governance and auditability of Spark in each calculation as you normally do. So really great use case, really cool way to automate different processes, especially ones that are in Excel right now, or even ones that don't exist in Excel that are easy to create in Excel. So thanks for your time today.